So it's Friday morning, the week before the Ironman World Championships here in Kona. Very pleased to be joined by British pro Harry Wiltshire. Now Harry, good morning to you. We're here at Lava Java, one of the most famous places in Kona, and it's your third appearance here.
Yeah, that's right. I guess I'm looking forward to it. I try not to think about it too much, and then you do an intro like that and then my heart starts to go a bit.
So as ever, I was going to say as ever, you don't tend to do things the easy way. I know a couple of years ago to get here you travelled all over the globe, broken a few bones and did various things, but you made it to the Big Island. This year as well you've done many an Ironman. I think we've had crashes, DNFs, DQs, pretty much anything that can go wrong has gone wrong at various points, and nonetheless you are here. So is it possible to sum up this season, given all of the many things that have happened to you?
I mean, I can try and run through it, but I'll probably forget some. I thought I was gonna, before Kona last year, I thought I need a full year to get this right, so I need to qualify early. So I went to Vichy before Kona last year and won in Vichy. That sort of put me on the front foot. And then I was in good shape, so I went to Weymouth 70.3 the week after and won at Weymouth. So I kind of 2 wins, and I was maybe 1-2 results away from being qualified. So I went to Malaysia after Kona, thinking if I can get a good result in Malaysia, then it's all done and dusted before November, and I've got a whole year to get ready for Kona. But I got hit by a car 10 days before I went to Malaysia, so I was pretty banged up from Malaysia. So that was kind of the end of the super early qualification, but I had a good winter and planned to come out and get it done in South Africa, to go and race early, and I kind of thought a top 10 in South Africa would do it. I had an issue with the bike. Basically my rear mech got damaged when I was travelling, and I thought I fixed it for the race, but it fell off in the race. So that was South Africa out of the window, but I was in good shape, so I thought, okay, we'll go to Texas. It's 2 weeks afterwards, and I can just fly straight over. And I thought I got the bike prepared properly, but I hadn't, so the bike fell to pieces in Texas, just due to that damage from the travel. So yeah, then I was on the back foot, but thought, no, come on, you're in good shape. You said you were going to do it early, back yourself. So I went to Brazil, crashed my bike in Brazil, and the cranks fell off because I shredded the cranks when I crashed it. So that was starting to look a bit more serious. There's 3 mess ups from 3. Where did we go after that? Ironman UK, disqualified for taking my visor off. They said it was either outside assistance or littering, which I thought was a bit harsh, but that's how it goes. So then I went to Switzerland, thought I'd get it done in Switzerland, had a puncture, and then went to Maastricht and booked my ticket in Maastricht. So a lot of racing, but actually not a lot of marathons. So in the past I've had to do kind of 4 or 5 races to qualify, and that's 5 marathons. And I figure it's the last 10-12k of the run that really makes a mess of you. Actually the swim, bike and 20k is a really good training session. So I probably didn't do myself any favours with a long haul flight to Brazil. But other than that, not had too bad a build up. I've got a lot of good brick sessions and a lot of decent training done, and not too many long, hard race marathons.
And you've had those 2 races here. What have you learned from those races, and how do you think you can apply that to the race, which is now 8 days away?
You're asking me that because we talked about it off camera. So it's basically a mathematical equation, isn't it? You know roughly what the best riders are going to ride, and guys who are 72, 73 kgs are going to ride 300 watts as an average for the front group, with maybe 1 or 2 who sneak off the front and go a bit crazy. I'm not going to ride 300 watts for 4.5 hours in this heat and this humidity, so in theory I can't hold the front group. It's just going to be going too quick for me. And it's probably worse than that, because the first hour they go way above that power, and then everyone starts to die and a couple of people hold on. So the smart thing for 90% of the pro field to do is to let that line go, to pick their own power that they think they can hold it for the bike, run good, and try and run through for a top 10 if it goes well. But no one seems to be able to do it. And I guess that's because you get out there and you're in the line and you think, no, this is alright, I can hold this. It's faster in the line, I should stay here. If I can hold this, I could get on the podium at the World Championships. and I kind of haven't decided yet. It's going to be a bit of look at the power and make sure I back off before I totally fry myself, and it's going to be a bit of if I can hang on and it's working for me, then I should hang on as long as I can. I don't want to do what I've done before. I've hung on for too long before, I've completely fried myself, and I've dragged myself home, and it's a long way to drag yourself around this run, and I'm in really good run shape, so I don't want to do a 3.5 hour marathon because I've cooked myself riding something I couldn't ride.
One of the things that we also talked about off camera, and it was one of the things that really amazed me about you. 2 years ago you qualified and you finished your bar exams to qualify as a barrister. That was in the same year that you did all, well, another year of excitement, shall we say, in terms of Ironmans. I think you did about 8 Ironmans to qualify for Kona that year. You managed to fracture some vertebrae amongst that process. One of the things you were saying was actually having done that qualification, that's actually in a way has freed you and gave you a lot more confidence as an athlete. Just explain that to our viewers.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose people respond differently, but for me, how do I put it? It's always worried me about, am I doing the right thing being an athlete? Can I afford to be an athlete? Is it just a bit self-indulgent? You know, I'm not paying a whole lot of tax here because I'm not making any money, and it's going to stop at some stage. I'm not physiologically going to be able to do it at 40, and what am I going to do? And I guess that sort of played on my mind as an athlete. You're just about getting by here. This isn't the sensible way to make a living. People tell you you're intelligent. I'm not sure if I am, but that's what they say. You could be doing something where you're getting paid, where you're, you know, looking after a family, paying a mortgage, and you're not. You're kind of all over the place, living kind of hand to mouth. And doing the bar course changed that a bit because I knew I had something to fall back on. If I broke my leg tomorrow, I could go to work and I've got a real job to do. Which kind of means when you can, you don't have to. So yeah, I bought myself a bit of time, and I've just got in the back of my mind, it's alright, if this isn't working out, there's something else I can go and do, which mentally makes it a lot easier for me rather than if this doesn't work, you're stuffed.
Yeah. One of the new things that we're going to see here, and we will be doing a separate piece on this, which hopefully may well be linked to the bottom of this interview if I get it all processed in time. You have an interesting new bike this year, a new bike to you, but also a completely new bike to the market. Before we go off, and we'll look at that in a little bit more detail, just tell us a little bit about that Reek bike that you're going to be riding.
Oh, I don't know, maybe that's the next interview. I think there might be an official unveiling of the athlete in Kona at the start of next week, so I wouldn't want to give anything away before the weekend.
Okay, well we're going to see something new, let's say, very, very soon.
Oh, and wait for the swimsuit as well. Check out the hoof suit that's coming out for the race.
Oh, look at that, special insider tips there, so lots of new kit. Just tell us about your objectives here. You know, you said there, and you've had many opportunities, and you do lots of training with the Brownlees, so you know the difference between, you know, with respect yourself physiologically to the guys that are right at the top of the sport. Does that impact what your objectives have to be and how you approach the sport and how you make your living in the sport?
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. I suppose the Brownlees are a bit of they're so much better than anyone else that it maybe brings you more down to earth. That then when I see other people training, I'm like, oh no, I can do that. But you go out on a long ride with Alistair and he puts in his tempo to the time trial block, and you go, wow, well, I just can't do that. So yeah, I guess it means you try and pick races that you can get the performance you should in. And as I said, it's not about getting super rich out of it or winning everything. It's about getting the best I can of myself. So if I'm racing to do the best I can, then some places that'll get me a good result, some places it won't. I think in Kona, the best I can do can still get me a top 10. It probably can't get me a win, but throughout the race you're just thinking, is this... I suppose you get to know your body, and you should have quite a good idea of what you can do, and if the race requires something that you can't do, You either go with it and the race goes wrong, or you let it go and hope that other people can't go with it. And the thing in Kona is it's so hard that if someone can't go with it and they try to, that's their race over. So if you get it right mentally, you can be a lot worse physiologically and still put them away, because as soon as you cross that line, you're not coming back. Unless you're the best athlete here, you've got to stay the right side of the line and hope you come through. And we'll see where that gets me.
Well, good luck at the, I was going to say at the weekend. It's next weekend. We've got 8 days to go now. You'll be representing Great Britain with pride, I'm sure. Hopefully it will be your best result here. We'll be following you closely. But thanks a lot for spending some time with us here at Try 24/7 today.
Thank you.